Everyone in Seoul feared Yong-sun, the cold, ruthless mafia boss who never bowed to anyone. But tonight, alone in his penthouse, he faced the one battle he always lost, his own body. Another escort had just run out crying, another failure, another humiliating moment that could destroy his entire reputation if the wrong person whispered it to the wrong ears. He sank into his chair, jaw tight, ready to fire every doctor on his payroll. Then the door opened. Not an escort, not an underboss, not an enemy. Michaela Destiny, his quiet, dark-skinned African maid who had worked for him only 2 weeks. She stepped in to clean the room, not knowing she was walking straight into the most dangerous secret in the city. "Sir, should I come back later?" she whispered. But the moment she got close enough for her scent to reach him, something impossible happened. His body reacted, immediately, powerfully, as if her presence switched him back on. Yong-sun froze. Michaela's eyes widened. Neither spoke, because they both understood something terrifying. If the Mafia ever discovered that only his maid could make the boss stand again, Michaela wouldn't be safe for a single second. And this is where everything begins. If you want more stories like this, hit like. Drop a comment telling me where you're watching from, and make sure to subscribe so you never miss any intense story coming from me. Now, let's get back to the story. Yong-sun's fingers dug into the leather armrest. His breathing came shallow and controlled, the same control he wielded over 43 territories across Seoul, the same iron grip that made grown men weep before pulling triggers. Tonight, that control meant nothing. Michaela stood frozen in the doorway, her cleaning cart half pushed into his private suite. The city lights behind him cast his silhouette into shadow, but she could see the tension radiating from his shoulders, the way his jaw worked like he was chewing glass. "I asked you a question." His voice came out rougher than he intended. She swallowed. "I can come back, Mr. Park. I didn't know—" "Stay." The word cracked through the room like a gunshot. Michaela's hand tightened on the cart handle. 2 weeks. She'd worked in this penthouse for exactly 2 weeks, kept her head down, cleaned what needed cleaning, and made herself invisible. That was the job. That was survival. But something in his voice made her feet refuse to move. Yong-sun stood. 6 feet of controlled violence wrapped in a black suit that probably cost more than her entire year's salary. The tattoo on his neck, a dragon's tail, disappeared beneath his collar. She'd glimpsed it once while changing his sheets, wondered how far it stretched across his skin. He moved toward her. Not fast, not slow, deliberate. "You smell different," he said. Michaela blinked. "Sir?" "Different from the others." He stopped 3 feet away, close enough that her lavender soap, the cheap kind from the bodega, would reach him. "What is it?" I don't understand." His eyes tracked across her face, dark eyes that had watched men die, eyes that held secrets sharp enough to cut. "The perfume. What is it called?" "I don't wear perfume, Mr. Park. I can't afford—" She stopped herself. Never admit weakness, not in this world. She'd learned the hard way. Something shifted in his expression. Not softness. Men like Yong-sun didn't do soft. But something curious. "You're from Nigeria." "Lagos, yes, sir." "How long in Seoul?" 8 months. "Family?" The question landed like a blade between her ribs. Michaela's throat tightened. "Just me now, sir." Yong-sun's gaze sharpened. He understood loss. He'd built an empire on it. "The previous escort," he said, switching topics with the precision of a man used to interrogations. "You saw her leave." It wasn't a question. Michaela nodded anyway. "What did you see?" "Nothing, sir. I see nothing. That's my job." "Smart." He took another step closer. 2 feet now, close enough that her lavender soap, the cheap kind from the bodega, would reach him. "But I'm not asking about your job. I'm asking what you saw." Michaela's pulse hammered. This was dangerous territory, the kind that got people disappeared in Seoul's underbelly. But lying to Yong-sun felt more dangerous than the truth. "She was crying," Michaela whispered. "Scared. She ran past me like demons were chasing her. And you didn't run. I need this job, Mr. Park. Running doesn't pay rent." Something like respect flickered across his face. He understood that, too. survival. The silence stretched between them. Outside, Seoul glittered, neon and steel and secrets buried under layers of money. Inside, the air felt thick enough to choke on. Then, Young Sun did something that made Michaela's breath catch. He reached out, slowly, giving her time to step back. His fingers brushed her wrist, just barely, just enough. His entire body went rigid. Michaela gasped, not from fear, from the electrical current that seemed to jump between their skin, from the way his pupils dilated, from the impossible, undeniable reaction that tensed through his frame. Young Sun's hand dropped like she'd burned him. "Leave the cart," he said, voice strangled. "Go to the kitchen. Wait there." "Sir." "Now." Michaela went. The kitchen gleamed with unused appliances and marble countertops. Michaela gripped the edge of the island, trying to steady her shaking hands. What just happened? What did I do? 15 minutes passed. 20. She should leave, clock out, pretend this night never happened. The kitchen door swung open. Young Sun stood in the doorway. He'd removed his jacket. His shirt sleeves were rolled to his elbows, exposing forearms marked with more tattoos, characters she couldn't read, symbols that probably meant death and loyalty and all the things men like him built their lives around. "You're still here," he said. "You told me to wait. Most people don't follow my orders when they're terrified." "I'm not terrified." His eyebrow lifted. "The one with the scar." "Liar." Michaela lifted her chin. "I'm cautious. There's a difference." A sound escaped him. Not quite a laugh, not quite anything she could identify, but his shoulders relaxed, fractionally. "Sit," he said, gesturing to the bar stools. She sat. He moved to the refrigerator, pulled out a container of something that smelled like ginger and garlic. Within minutes, he was heating rice, unpacking banchan, moving through the kitchen with unexpected efficiency. Michaela watched, dumbfounded. "You cook?" The question slipped out before she could stop it. "My grandmother taught me. Before she died. Before I became this." He set a bowl in front of her. Steam rose from perfectly arranged vegetables and marinated meat. Her stomach growled. She couldn't remember the last time she'd eaten anything that wasn't instant ramen. "Eat," he commanded. "I can't." "You said you need this job." His eyes pinned her in place. "Consider this part of it. Eat." Michaela picked up the chopsticks. Her hands still trembled slightly, but the food was incredible. She ate slowly at first, then faster, unable to help herself. Young Sun leaned against the counter, watching her with an expression she couldn't read. "When did you last eat?" he asked quietly. "Yesterday morning." "And before that?" She didn't answer. His jaw tightened. "You're working yourself to death. Better than the alternative." "Which is what?" Michaela set down her chopsticks. "You don't want to know my story, Mr. Park. It's not special. Girl comes to foreign country, sends money home, family dies anyway. Girl stays because going back means admitting failure. That's it. That's the whole story." Silence settled between them. Heavy, weighted with understanding. "My brother died 3 years ago. Rival gang. They cut him down in front of me. I killed 17 men that night, personally." His fingers traced the dragon tattoo on his neck. "My grandmother raised us after our parents were murdered. She told me violence would consume me. She was right." Michaela's throat tightened. "I'm sorry. Don't be. It made me powerful." He straightened. "But it also made me broken in ways that matter." She understood what he wasn't saying. The escorts, the failures, the humiliation. "What happened tonight?" "I won't tell anyone," Michaela said quickly. "I swear, your secret is safe." "That's not what I was going to say." He moved closer, not touching, not threatening, just present. "What happened tonight hasn't happened in 3 years, not since my brother died, not since I decided connection was weakness." His eyes bore into hers. "I don't understand." "I don't either." Frustration edged his voice. "But I need to understand. I need to know if it was coincidence or what? Or if you just changed everything." "I need to run a test," Young Sun said. Michaela stood, her chair scraping against tile. "What kind of test?" "Nothing that will hurt you." He held up his hand, palm out. I give you my word, but I need to understand what you do to me. Her mind raced through possibilities, none of them good. And if I refuse? Then you walk out that door with 3 months' salary and a reference letter that will get you work anywhere in Seoul. His expression remained neutral. Your choice, always your choice. Michaela studied him. Dangerous men make dangerous promises, but something in his voice rang honest. And 3 months' salary meant sending money back to the church in Lagos, the one that housed the orphanage where she'd volunteered. It meant keeping her tiny apartment. It meant survival. But staying meant something else, something that made her pulse quicken with fear, and something that felt dangerously close to curiosity. What's the test? She asked. Young Sun's shoulders relaxed slightly. Tomorrow night, here, same time. I need to confirm it wasn't an anomaly. And if it wasn't, his gaze intensified. Then we figure out what happens next. Michaela didn't sleep that night. She lay in her cramped studio apartment, barely large enough for a bed and a hot plate, staring at water stains on the ceiling. Her mind replayed the moment young Sun's fingers brushed her wrist, the electricity, the way his entire body had responded to her presence. Dangerous, her rational brain whispered. This is how girls disappear in cities like Seoul. But another part of her, the part that had survived Lagos streets, that had crossed an ocean alone, that had buried her sister without enough money for a proper funeral, that part recognized something else. Opportunity. She arrived at the penthouse at exactly 11 p.m., the usual time for deep cleaning after young Sun's business meetings. Her keycard beeped, the door clicked open. He was waiting in the living room. No suit jacket tonight, just the black shirt and slacks. His sleeves were already rolled up, like he'd been pacing. You came. You pay well. A slight smile. Liar. Michaela set down her bag. What now? Now we test. He moved toward her with that same deliberate control. I'm going to ask you to do something. If you're uncomfortable at any point, say stop. I will stop. Understood? She nodded. Out loud. Understood. Young Sun stopped 3 feet away, close enough that his cologne, expensive, cedar-based, reached her, close enough that she could see his pulse jumping in his throat. Jesus Christ, he breathed. It's real. Michaela felt it too, the current between their skin, the way her pulse synchronized with his, the impossible, undeniable chemistry that made no sense and every sense simultaneously. What does this mean? She whispered. His eyes opened. Dark, intense. 3 years, Michaela. 3 years of specialists and prescriptions and escorts who tried everything. Nothing, not even a flicker. His thumb traced across her knuckles. Then you walk into my suite, and just your presence, just your scent in the air. He stopped, stepped back, released her hand. Michaela felt the loss immediately, cold where his palm had been. This is impossible, he said, more to himself than her. This doesn't happen, but it did. Yes. He dragged a hand through his hair, which means you're in danger. From you? From everyone else. He made tea. Michaela watched as he prepared it with the same precise movements he'd used cooking. When he handed her the cup, their fingers brushed, that same electric current. Explain the danger, she said. Young Sun settled into the chair across from her. My organization has enemies, rival families who would love nothing more than to see me fall. If they discover you're the only woman who can affect me, he paused, they'll use you as leverage, as bait, as a weapon. Then we tell no one. That's not how this works. I have 40 men who rotate through this building. Security cameras, drivers, associates who report every move I make. Secrets don't stay secret in my world. Michaela sipped her tea, jasmine and honey. Then what do? We end this, now. I pay you, you leave, you forget this happened. Is that what you want? The question hung between them. Outside, Seoul hummed, sirens wailed. Life continued, indifferent to the choice being made in this expensive penthouse. No, young Sun admitted, but what I want hasn't mattered in a long time. Michaela set down her cup. I came to Seoul with nothing. Do you know what that's like? Stepping off a plane in a country where you don't speak the language, where people look at your skin color before they look at your face, where every door closes before you can knock. He watched her, silent, listening. I survived because I learned to recognize opportunity, real opportunity, the kind that comes once. She met his gaze. This, whatever this is between us, it's opportunity, for both of us, or destruction. Maybe. She smiled slightly, but at least it would be interesting destruction. Young Sun stared at her. Then, impossibly, he laughed. A real laugh. The sound transformed his face, made him look younger, less haunted. You're either very brave or very foolish. Can't it be both? He stood, moved to the window. Seoul glittered below, a city of neon dragons and underground empires. If we do this, he said slowly, if we explore what this is, there are rules. I'm listening. 1, you stay in this building. I'll arrange an apartment on the 15th floor, better than wherever you're living now. I can't afford. You're not paying. It's protection, for both of us. Michaela's pride bristled, but her practical side, the side that had survived Lagos and Seoul, recognized logic. What else? 2, you continue working. Publicly, nothing changes. You're still my maid. The staff sees you cleaning. The cameras see you working. No one suspects. And privately? He turned from the window. Privately, we figure this out. What you do to me. Why my body responds to you when it hasn't responded to anyone in 3 years. His gaze intensified. And what I do to you. Because don't pretend you don't feel it too. Heat crept up Michaela's neck. I feel it. 3, complete honesty. If you're scared, you tell me. If you want to leave, you tell me. If any of my men make you uncomfortable, you tell me immediately. Why the protection? You barely know me. Young Sun moved closer. Because in my world, people are tools, used and discarded, broken and replaced. He stopped inches away. And I'm tired of it. So tired of it. His voice dropped. You make me feel something other than anger for the first time in years. That's worth protecting. Michaela's heart hammered. This is insane. Yes. It could get us both killed. Yes. I should say no. Probably. She looked up at him, at this man who commanded an empire built on violence, who killed without hesitation, who held Seoul's underbelly in his scarred hands. This man who also cooked his grandmother's recipes and washed his own dishes, and whose eyes held so much carefully controlled pain. When do I move in? She asked. Comment what time you're watching this, and tell me, would you take Young Sun's offer? Because what Michaela doesn't know yet is that moving into his building just made her a target, and the wolves are already circling. The apartment on the 15th floor had floor-to-ceiling windows, a bathroom larger than her old studio, and a bed that felt like sleeping on clouds. Michaela stood in the center of the living room, turning slowly, taking it in. Is it acceptable? Young Sun stood in the doorway, hands in his pockets. Acceptable? This is more space than I've had in 8 months. Good. He moved into the room. Security will monitor the hallways. No one comes up without my approval. Your keycard only works for this floor and the penthouse. Prison with nice windows? His lips twitched. Protection with nice windows. Michaela walked to the glass. Seoul sprawled below, alive and electric. What happens now? Now you settle in. Tomorrow we begin. Begin what? Teaching you to survive in my world. She turned. I survived Lagos streets. I think I can handle... This isn't Lagos. His voice went hard. In Lagos, enemies come at you with knives. Here, they smile while poisoning your tea. They compliment your dress while planning your kidnapping. They bow respectfully while texting your location to rivals. He moved beside her. Different jungle, same rules. Trust no one. Not even you? Young Sun's gaze met hers. Especially not me. But his hand found hers in the space between them, their fingers threaded together. That electric current hummed. Though I'm trying, he admitted quietly, to be someone worthy of trust. I'm trying. The next morning, Michaela woke to a knock on her door. She opened it to find a woman in her 50s, elegant, sharp-eyed, carrying garment bags. I'm Mrs. Choi, the woman said in perfect English. Mr. Park sent me to handle your wardrobe. My wardrobe? For your role. Mrs. Choi swept into the apartment. Publicly, you're still the maid, so we need appropriate work clothes. But privately, you'll accompany Mr. Park to certain events. Those require different attire. Michaela watched as the woman efficiently unpacked dresses, shoes, accessories. What kind of events? The kind where you smile, stay close to him, and memorize every face you see. Mrs. Choi's gaze sharpened. The kind where one wrong word could start a war. I'm not trained for, you will be. She held up a black dress, simple, elegant, expensive. Mr. Park has arranged training, etiquette, languages, self-defense. A smile. You'll learn or you'll die, preferably the former. The training started that afternoon. A man named Jin-ho, compact, muscled, moving like violence in human form, met her in the building's private gym. You know how to fight? He asked. Street fighting, nothing formal. Show me. For the next hour, Jin-ho attacked. Not hard enough to injure, hard enough to test. Michaela blocked what she could, absorbed what she couldn't, and got up every time he knocked her down. Finally, he nodded. You have instinct. That's good. Instinct keeps you alive longer than technique. He tossed her a bottle of water. But technique keeps you alive, period. We train every day, 2 hours, no exceptions. Why are you helping me? Jin-ho's expression remained neutral. Boss's orders. That's not why. A pause. Then, 3 years ago, boss pulled me from the street. I was 17, starving, stealing to survive. He could have killed me, should have. Instead, he fed me, trained me, gave me purpose. His gaze met hers. Boss doesn't save people often. When he does, we protect what he saves. That includes you. That evening, young son came to her apartment with dinner. Not takeout, food he'd cooked himself. You keep feeding me, Michaela said, watching him arrange containers on her counter. You keep not eating enough. I'm eating fine. He gave her a look that said he didn't believe her. Sit. They ate in comfortable silence. Then young son said, Jin-ho tells me you're a fast learner. Jin-ho tells you a lot. He's loyal. Loyalty is rare. He set down his chopsticks. How was your first day? Overwhelming. Confusing. Michaela paused. Why are you doing this? The apartment, the training, the protection? What do you want from me? Young son was quiet for a long moment. Honestly, I don't know. All I know is that when you're near me, I feel human. Not a weapon, not a boss, not a killer. Just human. And I haven't felt that in so long I'd forgotten what it was like. Michaela's chest tightened. That's a lot of pressure. I know. If it's too much, I didn't say that. She reached across the counter, took his hand. That electric current blazed. There are no rules. His thumb traced circles on her palm. That's what terrifies me. 2 weeks passed. Michaela fell into a rhythm. Mornings training with Jin-ho, afternoons learning Korean from Mrs. Choi, evenings with young son. Sometimes they ate dinner, sometimes they just sat in silence, hands clasped, that impossible chemistry humming between them. They learned his routines, how he took his coffee, black, no sugar, how he checked his phone exactly 7 times per hour, how his jaw tensed when he was about to give an order that would result in violence. He learned her scars, the one on her ribs from a knife fight when she was 16, the one on her shoulder from a bullet that should have killed her, the one on her heart from watching her brother die. And he learned her, how she sang quietly when she cleaned, old gospel songs her mother taught her, how she touched the small cross at her throat when she was nervous, how she cried silently sometimes, late at night, for the family she'd lost. They didn't cross certain lines, no kissing, no bedroom, just this strange electric connection that grew stronger every day, until the night everything changed. You're coming with me tonight, young son said, appearing in her apartment without knocking. Michaela looked up from her Korean textbook. Where? A meeting. With the families. His expression was unreadable. You need to be seen with me. Publicly. It's time. Her stomach dropped. Is that wise? No, but it's necessary. He handed her a garment bag. Mrs. Choi selected this. Wear it. We leave in 2 hours. The dress was midnight blue, silk. It hugged her curves without being obvious, fell to her knees with a slit that showed just enough leg. Elegant, powerful. Mrs. Choi appeared to do her makeup and hair. "Remember," she said, working carefully, "you're invisible until you're not. Watch everything. Say little. Stay close to Mr. Park. And if someone speaks to me, smile, be polite, defer to him." Her hands paused. "And if anyone touches you without permission, memorize their face. Mr. Park will handle it." The restaurant was in Gangnam, the kind where doormen wore suits nicer than most people's wedding attire. Young Sun's hand rested on Michaela's lower back as they entered, possessive, protective. Every head turned. Michaela felt the weight of their stares, men in expensive suits, women in designer dresses, all of them assessing, calculating, wondering who this African woman was and why she was on Young Sun's arm. "Breathe," he murmured. "You belong here because I say you belong here." They moved through the room toward a private section. 6 men waited at a large table, older, harder, men who'd built empires on blood. "Young Sun," one said, gray-haired, cold eyes. "You're late." "I'm exactly on time, Chairman Lee." Young Sun pulled out a chair for Michaela. "Gentlemen, this is Michaela. She's under my protection." Silence. Heavy. Dangerous. Then Chairman Lee smiled. "How unexpected. Your taste has changed." The insult was subtle. Michaela felt it like a slap, but Young Sun's hand tightened on her shoulder, a warning to stay calm. "My taste has always been impeccable," Young Sun said smoothly. "Shall we begin?" The meeting was conducted in Korean. Michaela understood perhaps 1 word in 10, enough to catch the tone. Aggressive, territorial, men circling, looking for weakness. She stayed silent, watched, memorized faces like Mrs. Choi had instructed. The man across from her, younger, maybe mid-30s, with a scar across his cheek, kept staring, not at Young Sun, at her. His gaze traveled her body with ownership that made her skin crawl. Young Sun noticed. His jaw tightened, but he said nothing. Not here, not now. The meeting dragged on. Business, territories, disputes, the language of violence wrapped in polite Korean. Then the scarred man spoke directly to her, in English. "You're very beautiful," he said. "Does Young Sun share?" The table went silent. Michaela's pulse pounded. Every instinct screamed danger, but Jinho's training kicked in. "Smile. Be polite. Let the boss handle it." "That's very kind," she said softly, then looked at Young Sun. His expression could have frozen hell. "Min Suk," he said quietly, "you will apologize to the lady, now." Min Suk smirked. "For a compliment? Don't tell me the great Young Sun has gone soft over—" One moment, he was seated. The next, he had Min Suk slammed against the wall, forearm across his throat. "Say another word, and they'll find pieces of you across 6 districts." Chairman Lee sighed. "Young Sun, release him." Min Suk was out of line, but violence here benefits no one. He disrespected what's mine. "And you've made your point." Lee's eyes glittered. "We all see how attached you've become. Let him go." Young Sun held Min Suk for another heartbeat, then released him. Min Suk gasped, coughing. "My apologies," Min Suk choked out, not looking at Michaela. Young Sun returned to his seat, took Michaela's hand under the table. His fingers trembled slightly with barely controlled rage. They rode back in silence. Young Sun's driver kept his eyes forward. The city blurred past. When they reached the building, Young Sun walked her to her apartment. "I'm sorry," he said at her door. "For what?" "For putting you in danger. I should have waited, should have—" Michaela pressed her fingers to his lips. "You protected me. That's what matters. I showed them weakness. You showed them loyalty." She smiled slightly. "There's a difference." His hand came up, cradling her face. "They'll come for you now, Min Suk. Others, they'll try to use you against me. Then we'll deal with it. We," he said it like tasting wine, testing the flavor. "I haven't thought in terms of we in years. Get used to it." Young Sun leaned closer, so close she could feel his breath on her lips. You're making me reckless. Good. Reckless gets people killed in my world. Your world is my world now. Michaela's fingers traced the dragon on his neck, whether you like it or not. He kissed her, finally, after weeks of electric touches and charged silences. His lips claimed hers with desperate hunger, like a man dying of thirst finally finding water. Michaela melted into him. The chemistry between them exploded into something physical, undeniable, perfect. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, Young Sun rested his forehead against hers. This changes everything, he whispered. I know. They'll come for you. I know. I won't let them take you. I know. His arms wrapped around her, holding her like she was the only solid thing in a crumbling world. Stay with me tonight, he said. Not just to sleep. I need to know you're safe. Michaela nodded. Okay. They went to his penthouse. He gave her one of his shirts to sleep in. They lay in his massive bed, her back to his chest, his arm around her waist. Thank you, he murmured into her hair. For what? For making me feel human again. Michaela laced her fingers through his. That electric current blazed even now, tired and comfortable. You never stopped being human, she whispered. You just forgot. She woke to screaming alarms. Young Sun was already moving, pulling on clothes, grabbing a gun from his nightstand. Stay here, he commanded. Lock the door. Don't open it for anyone but me. What's happening? Someone breached the building. His eyes met hers, dark, deadly. They're coming for you. Then he was gone. Michaela locked the door with shaking hands. Her training with Jin Ho flooded back. Assess, adapt, survive. The penthouse had one entrance, floor-to-ceiling windows, no other exit. She grabbed a kitchen knife, pathetic against guns but better than nothing. Gunshots echoed below, shouts in Korean, the distinctive sound of bodies hitting the floor. Minutes stretched into hours, or maybe seconds into minutes. Time lost meaning when every heartbeat could be your last. Then her phone buzzed. Young Sun. Stay away from the door. They're in the hallway. Her blood went cold. How many? 4 that I can see. Minsok sent them. I'm handling it. Young Sun, I will protect you, Michaela, no matter what it costs. Understand? Yes. Good. Stay down, stay quiet. This ends soon. The line went dead. Michaela crouched behind the kitchen island, knife gripped tight. Every sound amplified, her breathing, her pulse, the hum of the refrigerator. Then chaos. The penthouse door exploded inward. 2 men rushed in, black tactical gear, guns raised. Michaela dove behind the couch as bullets shredded the air where she had been standing. Glass shattered, plaster rained down. Then Young Sun appeared. He moved like death incarnate, precise, brutal, unstoppable. The first gunman went down with a knife in his throat. The second managed to fire once before Young Sun broke his arm and slammed his head into the marble floor. Silence. Young Sun was bleeding. Shoulder wound, not fatal, but red bloomed across his white shirt. Are you hurt? His eyes scanned her frantically. No, you are. It's nothing. He pulled her up. We need to move. Now. There are more coming. Where? Jin Ho has a car waiting. We go out the service elevator. Stay behind me. They ran. The building had become a war zone. Bodies in the hallways. Young Sun's men, Minsok's soldiers, blood painting expensive carpet. Michaela stepped over them, trying not to look at their faces, trying not to think about how her presence had caused this. Then Jin Ho met them at the elevator. Car's ready, boss, but they have the main exits covered. Underground parking? Risky. They'll expect it. Young Sun's jaw tightened. He looked at Michaela. Can you trust me? Completely? Yes. Then we go up. Up? Jin Ho stared. Boss, that's the roof. They won't expect it. We go up, wait for dawn, then move. His gaze hardened. Call Park, tell him to bring the helicopter. The roof was freezing. Seoul sprawled below, oblivious to the violence in this single building. Michaela shivered in Young Sun's shirt. He wrapped his jacket around her shoulders, despite his own injury. How long? She asked. 30 minutes, maybe less. He checked his gun, reloaded. Can you shoot? I've never. Then stay behind me. He positioned her against the roof access door. If I go down, you run. Don't look back, don't stop. Jin-ho will get you out. Young son, promise me. Michaela looked at this man who'd given her safety, taught her strength, kissed her like she was salvation. This man who was bleeding because he'd chosen to protect her. I promise. She lied. He knew it was a lie. Smiled anyway. Stubborn woman. You like stubborn women. I like you. He kissed her, quick, hard, desperate. When this is over, we're leaving Seoul, both of us. I'm done with this life. You can't just walk away from... Watch me. The roof access door exploded. 3 men poured out. Min-sok led them, that scar on his face twisted with rage. Young son, he shouted, give us the woman and we let you live. Come take her. Min-sok laughed. Foolish, sentimental. Your brother would be ashamed. Young son's expression went cold. My brother knew loyalty, something you'll never understand. I understand power, and right now you're weak, bleeding, protecting a woman who isn't even Korean. Min-sok's gun pointed at Michaela. Last chance, give her to us. We make it quick. You keep your empire. My empire means nothing without her. The words hung in the air. Truth, raw, undeniable. Min-sok's face twisted. Then you both die. Jin-ho moved first. His bullet caught Min-sok's shoulder, spinning him. Young Sun fired twice, dropping the men flanking Min-sok. But Min-sok recovered fast. His shot hit Young Sun square in the chest. Young Sun went down. No! Michaela screamed. Min-sok turned his gun on her. You should have stayed in Lagos. Then Jin-ho was there, tackling Min-sok. They grappled. The gun fired wild. Michaela crawled to Young Sun. His chest was bleeding, too much blood. His eyes were unfocused. Stay with me, she begged. Don't you dare die. Not now. Not when we were about to... Run, he gasped. Michaela, run. I'm not leaving you. His hand found hers, weak, trembling, but that electric current still hummed, faint but present. Stubborn woman. Then his eyes closed. The helicopter arrived. Jin-ho had subdued Min-sok, knocked him unconscious. He carried Young Sun to the chopper while Michaela stumbled behind, numb with shock. The hospital was private, expensive, the kind where doctors didn't ask questions about gunshot wounds. Michaela sat in the waiting room, still wearing Young Sun's blood-soaked jacket, while surgeons fought to save his life. Mrs. Choi found her there. Child. She pulled Michaela into an embrace. He'll survive. He always survives. He took a bullet for me. Of course he did. He loves you. The words hit like a physical blow. He never said. Men like Young Sun don't say. They show. Mrs. Choi pulled back, eyes fierce. He rebuilt his entire world around protecting you, changed everything he was. That's how they love. Michaela's tears finally came, great heaving sobs for this impossible man, and this dangerous love, and the life she'd stumbled into. Dawn broke. A doctor emerged. He'll live, the doctor said. The vest took most of the impact, cracked ribs, internal bruising, but he'll recover. Michaela's knees went weak with relief. You can see him, briefly. Young Sun looked pale against white hospital sheets. Tubes and monitors tracked his vitals, but his eyes opened when she entered. You're alive, she whispered. Disappointed? She hit his arm, gently. Don't joke. I thought you died. I thought... He caught her hand, pulled her down until her forehead rested against his. I heard you on the roof. You told me not to die. And you listened? Always. His thumb traced her cheek. I meant what I said. When I'm healed, we leave. Start over. Somewhere warm. Somewhere safe. You'd give up your empire for me? I'd give up everything for you. 3 years ago, I thought my life ended with my brother, but you made me realize I wasn't dead, just sleeping, waiting for someone to wake me up. Michaela kissed him, soft, gentle, tasting salt from her tears. Where would we go? She asked. Lagos. You can show me your home, meet the people you helped, visit your family's graves. He smiled slightly. Then maybe somewhere new. For both of us. Build something that isn't built on blood. You think that's possible? With you, I think anything's possible. If you believe in second chances, that people can change when they find the right reason, then subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that notification bell, because this story isn't over, it's just beginning. The Lagos sun was merciless. Michaela walked through the orphanage courtyard, watching children play. The building had a new roof now, new beds, books, medicine, all funded by anonymous donations that arrived monthly. "Michaela," a little girl ran up, hugging her legs. "Will you read to us?" "After lunch, A to Z, I promise." Arms wrapped around her from behind. Familiar, electric. "You're good with them," Young-sun murmured. She leaned back against him. He'd healed well, moved easily now. The only reminder of that night was a scar he traced sometimes, thoughtfully. "They remind me why I'm here," she said. "Here at the orphanage or here in Lagos?" "Both." She turned in his arms. "Do you miss it, Seoul, the power?" He considered. "I miss the food, Jinho's terrible jokes, Mrs. Choi's scolding." He kissed her forehead. "But do I miss the violence, the fear, always looking over my shoulder?" He smiled. "Not for a second." "What did you do with it all? The organization?" "Gave it to Chairman Lee with conditions. No trafficking, no children, no forced labor." He agreed. Young-sun's expression darkened slightly. He understood I'd come back if he broke those rules, and that I'd bring hell with me. "And Min-suk?" "Alive, barely, in a prison hospital where he'll spend the rest of his life." His jaw tightened. "I wanted to kill him for what he tried to do to you, but you made me promise. No more killing unless absolutely necessary." Michaela touched his face. "Thank you for trying to be different. Thank you for making it possible." They stood there, holding each other while Lagos hummed around them. Car horns, street vendors, laughter. So different from Seoul's neon nights, but alive, real. "I have something for you," Young-sun said. He pulled a small box from his pocket, opened it. A ring. Simple gold band, no diamond, but inscribed inside, "You woke me up." "Michaela Destiny," he said quietly. "You walked into my life when I was a dead man walking. You touched me when I thought I was broken beyond repair. You loved me when I was still learning how to be human." He knelt. "Marry me. Build this new life with me. Let me spend every day earning the gift you've given me." Her tears came fast. "Yes, yes, of course yes." He slipped the ring on her finger. Stood, kissed her while children cheered around them, not understanding the significance, but celebrating anyway. That night, in the small apartment they rented near the orphanage, they lay tangled together. The ceiling fan creaked overhead. Outside, Lagos never truly slept. "Do you ever regret it? Everything you gave up?" Michaela asked. "Every empire falls eventually. Every king dies. Every throne crumbles." He pulled her closer. "But this, you and me, this is real. This lasts." "How do you know?" "Because what you do to me, what we have between us, it defied every logic, every rule, every expectation." His lips brushed her temple. "That kind of chemistry doesn't just disappear. It's permanent, like gravity." Michaela smiled into the darkness. "Gravity, huh? That's almost romantic." "Almost? Needs work." He laughed. That real laugh she'd first heard months ago, the one that transformed his face, made him look like the man he could have been if life had been kinder. "I'll work on it," he promised. "I have the rest of our lives to get it right." 3 months later, they married in a small church. Jinho flew in as best man. Mrs. Choi cried through the entire ceremony. Chairman Lee sent an expensive gift with a note, "Congratulations, don't come back." They had no plans to. Their life was simple now. Michaela ran programs at the orphanage. Young-sun used his business skills to help local entrepreneurs. They ate dinner together every night, made love under mosquito netting, argued about whose turn it was to do the dishes. Normal. Beautifully, perfectly normal. Sometimes late at night, Young-sun would wake with nightmares. His brother's death, the violence, the guilt. Michaela would hold him until the shaking stopped, remind him who he was now, not who he had been. And sometimes Michaela would wake crying, grief for her lost family, fear that this happiness was temporary, worry that Soul would call him back. He'd hold her until the tears stopped, remind her that home was wherever they chose to make it, together. 1 year after leaving Seoul, Michaela discovered she was pregnant. Young Sun cried when she told him. Real tears, no shame, just overwhelming emotion that this life, this new, clean, honest life, was giving them a future. A child, he whispered, hand on her still flat stomach. Our child. Are you scared? Terrified. He met her eyes, but also hopeful. For the first time in my life, genuinely hopeful about the future. We'll figure it out. Together. Together. He kissed her. I like that word. Their daughter was born on a rainy Tuesday. Screaming, healthy, perfect. They named her Grace because that's what she represented. Undeserved grace. Second chances. The possibility of redemption. Young Sun held her with the same careful control he'd once used for weapons, but his eyes were soft, his voice gentle. Hello, little one. I'm your father. I used to be, well, let's say I wasn't always a good man, but I'm trying now. Your mother taught me how. He glanced at Michaela. She taught me that strength isn't about control. It's about choosing love even when it's dangerous. Grace yawned, unimpressed with philosophy. Michaela laughed through happy tears. She's perfect, like her mother. Smooth talker. I've had practice. They sat together, this impossible family built from chemistry and courage and the kind of love that defied logic. Outside, Lagos carried on. Inside, their world was complete. 5 years later, Grace ran through the orphanage courtyard, playing with other children. She spoke Yoruba and Korean and English, switching between them effortlessly. Young Sun watched from the shade. Older now, but lighter. The weight he'd carried for so long had finally lifted. Still no regrets? Michaela asked, settling beside him. Only that I didn't find you sooner. Smooth. 5 years of practice. She laughed. Took his hand. That electric current still hummed between them, constant, undeniable. Thank you, she said. For what? For choosing me. For choosing this life. For proving that people can change. Young Sun turned to her. I didn't choose you, Michaela. You walked into my penthouse and reminded me I had a choice. Before you, I was just surviving. After you, well, let's say I started living. Grace ran over, demanding to be lifted. Young Sun scooped her up, spinning her until she shrieked with laughter. Michaela watched them, her husband and daughter, and thought about that night in Seoul. The fear, the danger, the impossible chemistry that had started everything. She'd walked into the wrong place at exactly the right time, met a man who thought he was broken, and together they'd built something beautiful from the wreckage. Not perfect. Never perfect, but real, honest, worth fighting for. And that was enough. More than enough. It was everything. The end. If this story moved you, if it made you believe in second chances and impossible love, then subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that like button. Drop a comment telling me what moment hit you hardest, because stories like this are why we're here. Share this with someone who needs to believe that no matter how dark their past, they can build a better future. And remember, the most powerful thing in the world isn't money or status or control. It's choosing love when everything tells you to choose fear. It's being brave enough to change. It's finding someone whose presence reminds you that you're human. Thank you for watching. Until the next story, stay blessed, stay hopeful, and never stop believing in redemption.